prior to the beginning of turn 1, each player takes an ordinary camel card from the quick draw pile. They place this onto their camel number 1 slot in the driving position. They also take one ordinary captain from the quick draw, which is placed into the boat slot. You're now ready to begin placing each other's pieces. Each player in turn places one of their opponent's pieces in the circle. The pieces have to be within a space of a city. At the beginning of turn number 1, player 1 draws a mission card. They can then accept or decline that mission. They're likely to accept it. At this stage, you would. In the first turn, you draw a mission card for your camel piece and a mission card for your boat piece. You never do this again. The camel piece and then the boat piece are moved, and any consequences of that movement dealt with. This is likely to involve spawning a new camel piece. As you gain more camels, each one spawns in the nearest city that is free within 2 spaces. The nearest city to the one where you completed your mission. I haven't talked about actions regarding other players, because so far we've just been dealing with a single player and what they need to do in their first turn. So if we look now at player 2 in the first turn, they likewise get a mission card for their camel and a mission card for the captain. They're very likely to spawn a second camel, which will also be able to take a mission card immediately it comes into existence. And they may be very lucky and manage to spawn a third within that single turn. That likewise will be able to take a mission card and to move. If a player gains more than 3 camel cards, it doesn't create any new pieces. From there on, those camels are moving with the pieces. Right, we've talked about how each player goes. Now, what players can do to each other? Let's talk about that. Is that an appropriate thing to do now?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of actions that players can take against or involving other players. You have 7 categories: force, faith, diplomacy, love, something else, several more. Our fourth faith, diplomacy, trade, skullduggery,
Camels.
and marine. Let's say that again. Force, faith, diplomacy, skullduggery, camels, marine.
Trade.
Force, faith, diplomacy, skullduggery, trade, camels, marine.
Got it.
We're going to talk about the action of force. Obviously, we're talking about a large part of the world in a very important bit of history. There's going to be some warlike shit going on, and so it proves. The essential way that attacks work is by wiping out enemy military forces being carried by your opponent's pieces. But when we wipe them out, we don't wipe them out of existence fully. They get sent to the discard pile. It's like they run off into the desert. Cards almost never disappear from play completely. The way that force works is by a unified attack and defend, isn't it?
Unified attack and defense value.
You win an engagement by committing your attack against a given force card on a neighbouring space. The way that everything is then worked out is we go to the negotiating area. Q, negotiating area. The action is resolved by a bidding process. process. The attacker begins with the card that they are aiming to commit to the action, and specify which card they are targeting. If the defender doesn't want to commit extra cards, then they lose. If the total of their force is lower, they simply lose, and that card is discarded. If the attacker chooses to attack everything in the defence, then the defender has to defend with everything. But this means that if they actually win, the defender wipes out the attacker. Okay, we have roughly, I think, a structure that we've just talked through of how we now do attack and defence. So, in the realm of force, the attacker first says which cards they are initially committing to an attack. Those cards are placed in the negotiating area on their side. The defender, they specify which cards they are directly making their target. Those cards are automatically brought into the negotiating area on the defender's side. The defender can now choose to commit sufficient resources, if he or she has them, to ensure that they have equal to or greater numbers for defence than the attacker has. If they get the same number as the attacker, then the cards at that point committed are both lost. If they get one number more, then they wipe out the attacker whilst remaining intact. 2 points more, they overwhelm the entire attacking force completely and send it to discard. 3 points more, they wipe out everything on the opposing side and cause a blood feud to come into existence. Bidding in this way alternates between the players until the combat is resolved completely. Each piece can only contain one card which initiates an action on each turn. So, whilst the process we've laid out for negotiation is quite a long one, it only has to be done once for each piece. Right, so I think I get it, but explain it to me again.
Explain what to you.
So we're discussing the mechanisms by which precisely a faith attack against, for example, a garrison would work. We have a imam who has a faith value of 3, big fucking guy, who's going out to convert a
Is my pencil?
battalion who have a force value of 2, for argument's sake in this instance. How can they defend themselves? What's the factors that are playing out in this move?
Now that you've figured out that sentence, say it again, because I wasn't paying attention.
So we have a muse. She's a storyteller. She has a diplomacy value of 3. Yeah, I've just had an idea, which I think could prove useful and entertaining, because that sounds like great fun.